Look there. Pat, the compass is in a spin.
Geiger's up to the top.
Yeah, that's it, all right.
What if I told you one of the most terrifying alien movies of all time almost looked completely different? Long before John Carpenter's slimy body horror classic, there was the 1951 original The Thing from Another World, a movie born in the shadow of the Cold War, stitched together by feuding filmmakers and starring a monster that was never supposed to look the way you remember it. Behind the frozen landscapes and burning title letters, there were hidden battles, dangerous stunts, and secrets so wild they could have killed the cast. Some call it just another monster flick, but the truth? It was a Cold War nightmare disguised as science fiction, and the stories behind the camera are just as chilling as what burst out of the ice. These are 16 hidden facts about The Thing from Another World. Number 1. The director who maybe didn't direct. On paper, The Thing from Another World was directed by Christian Nyby. He was a respected film editor trying to break into directing, and this movie was supposed to be his big shot. His name is right there in the credits, etched into history. But talk to the actors who were on set, and they'll tell you a different story. Many swore that the real puppet master was legendary filmmaker Howard Hawks. Hawks wasn't just the producer, he was constantly on set, blocking shots, rewriting dialogue, even coaching performances. To some, it looked less like guidance and more like Hawks was directing the whole film without taking credit. Why would he do that? Some believed Hawks didn't want his prestigious name tied to a monster movie. Others say he was simply testing Nyby. Either way, the question still lingers. Who really directed this film?
What's the matter, Corporal? Dr. Chapman, where's the captain? I've got to tell him that thing's alive. I saw it, sir. Chase me, that thing's alive.
Number 2. The Shapeshifter That Never Was. The original novella Who Goes There gave birth to the most terrifying idea of all, a creature that could shapeshift into anyone it touched. Imagine the paranoia. Your best friend, your commanding officer, even the person next to you might not be human anymore. That was supposed to be the heart of the movie. But when production began, the studio slammed into a wall called budget. Pulling off shape-changing effects in 1951 would have required expensive makeup, camera tricks, and multiple elaborate suits. Instead, the filmmakers scrapped the idea, simplifying the alien into a single hulking figure. It was easier to shoot, but a huge departure from the source. It may not have copied faces, but it still terrified audiences. Sometimes one big monster is scarier than a hidden one.
Harrison has a worry.
This is no joke.
What if he can read our minds?
He's gonna be real mad when he gets to me.
Number 3. James Arness buried under the monster suit. Before he became Marshall Dillon on Gunsmoke, James Arness had one of the strangest early roles in Hollywood, playing the alien in The Thing from Another World. At over 6 feet 7, he had the size producers wanted, towering over the rest of the cast. But the role was brutal. The makeup and prosthetics took hours to apply, with layers of latex, padding, and a headpiece that restricted breathing. Arness hated the suit, complaining he felt like he was suffocating inside it. Some scenes required him to crash through doors and take fire blasts, all while barely able to see. Years later, Arness admitted he was embarrassed by the role. He even skipped the premiere, worried people would laugh at him. Little did he know that under all that makeup, he was creating a sci-fi icon.
I'm not your enemy, I'm a scientist. I'm a scientist who's trying.
Number 4. The monster's face got a last-minute makeover. The alien suit was originally designed by makeup artist Lee Greenway, who spent months creating something unique. Early sketches leaned toward a more alien look, less human, more insect-like, a design that would have been closer to the novella's vision. But when producers saw the results, they panicked. They thought audiences wouldn't accept something too strange. So at the last minute, they demanded changes. Greenway was ordered to simplify the design, giving the creature a more human-like head with squared-off Frankenstein features. That compromise frustrated the crew, but it stuck. The alien ended up looking more like a classic movie monster than an unearthly terror. Number 5. The fire stunt that nearly went wrong. One of the most shocking moments in the movie comes when the alien bursts into the crew's quarters and is set on fire. For 1951, this wasn't just daring, it was one of the most dangerous fire stunts ever attempted. The scene was shot MOS, meaning without sound, so the crew could focus entirely on safety. Multiple stuntmen were hidden in protective suits, and real kerosene was ignited to engulf the alien. The flames burned so hot that actors off-camera felt the heat blister their skin. It worked. The sequence was terrifyingly real, and it nearly ended in disaster, which made it unforgettable.
1.8.
Come off those spikes.
1.9. The needles hit the top.
Number 6. Freezing the set for real. To sell the Arctic atmosphere, the crew didn't just rely on fake snow, they actually refrigerated the sound stages, dropping temperatures close to freezing so actors' breath would fog up on camera. The cast bundled up in real heavy parkas, and scenes were shot in visible cold. It was uncomfortable, but it gave the movie a sense of authenticity that special effects alone couldn't capture. Even the camera lenses sometimes frosted over between takes. The chill wasn't fake. The Arctic was alive on set.
Wait a minute, Scotty. You won't need any boots. When it comes, you go back with the others. You don't belong out here.
I didn't belong at Alamein or Bougainville or Okinawa. I was just kibitzing. And I also write a very good obituary to you. Just ignore me, please.
Captain Henry. Go ahead.
Number 7. The credits that hid the stars. Most films of the era opened by proudly announcing the names of the cast and crew. But The Thing from Another World did something bold. The opening title simply burned through the screen with those iconic letters, and then the movie launched straight into the story. No names, no billing, no starring so-and-so. The actors went uncredited until the very end of the film. A strange move that added to the atmosphere of mystery and unease. It felt less like Hollywood glamour and more like a classified military file. That choice made the film feel bigger than its cast, as if the story itself was the star. Pretty wild so far, right? And we're only halfway through. Think about it. We've had a mystery director, a suffocating monster suit, and fire stunts that nearly went up in smoke. But trust me, the best is still buried under the ice. Because the deeper you dig into this movie, the stranger it gets. From scenes that were changed in the editing room to explosions so strong they cracked real windows, the chaos behind this film was almost scarier than the alien itself. Number 8. Editing added a missing victim. Not everything terrifying on screen was in the original script. During editing, the team realized the alien's threat didn't feel big enough. Audiences needed to see just how it could wipe people out. So the editor spliced in an extra moment showing a crew member's disappearance, hinting the alien had assimilated him. It was a clever trick, built almost entirely from scraps of unused footage and reaction shots. It was subtle, but it changed the tone. Suddenly, the alien felt unstoppable even when you didn't see it. Number 9. A loose adaptation of the novella. The movie is technically based on John W. Campbell's novella Who Goes There? But if you've read the story, you know the film barely resembles it. The book was all about paranoia, identity, and a monster that could imitate anyone. The film stripped most of that away, focusing instead on a straightforward alien threat. The Cold War themes of science versus the military were added in, giving it a very different flavor from Campbell's original vision. It wasn't faithful, but it gave audiences a creature feature that still packed a punch. Number 10. A monster made of plants. Most 1950s movie aliens were little green men or bug-eyed invaders. But The Thing from Another World went in a different direction. The alien wasn't even animal at all. It was designed as a plant-based life form. According to the script, it fed on blood like a vampire but grew like a vegetable, complete with cells that mimicked chlorophyll. This was a radical choice at the time. A walking, blood-drinking vegetable blurred the line between science experiment and nightmare. It also gave the film a strange allegorical edge. Science run wild, nature turned hostile, humanity under siege from something we thought we understood. A monster made of plants? Only in the 50s could that idea sprout terror.
Ready, Bob? No, but go ahead, no.
Number 11. The cut sabotage scene. Early drafts included a sequence where the Thing directly sabotaged the outpost's heating system and oil lines. The idea was to show the creature not just as a brute, but as an intelligent invader, slowly turning the base into a death trap. But when the footage was cut together, the pacing dragged. The producers scrapped the scene, leaving only hints that the alien was responsible for the failing systems. In the final movie, the sabotage is more implied than seen, forcing the audience to fill in the blanks. Sometimes what you don't show makes the monster feel even smarter. Number 12. Science versus the military. At its core, the movie isn't just about a monster. It's about a clash of ideologies. Dr. Carrington, the head scientist, believes the alien should be studied, even protected, no matter how many people it kills. To him, knowledge is worth any sacrifice. On the other side, the Air Force crew sees the Thing as a threat that must be destroyed at all costs. This tug of war between intellectual curiosity and military pragmatism reflected real Cold War fears. The dangers of unchecked science versus the need for defense. It wasn't just sci-fi, it was a warning dressed as entertainment. Number 13. Cracking the ice with real explosives. When the crew uncovers the flying saucer buried in ice, the filmmakers wanted the reveal to feel massive. To get it, they used actual explosive charges under the set, blasting chunks of ice and snow sky high. The force was so strong, it rattled the studio walls and even cracked real windows nearby. For a movie made on a modest budget, it was a risky stunt that pushed safety to the edge, and it paid off with one of the most iconic images in 50s sci-fi. The Arctic wasn't fake that day. they blew it up for real. Number 14. Cornflakes and movie magic. Special effects in the early 50s didn't have the luxury of computers or green screens. To pull off the look of ice and debris when the alien craft is uncovered, the crew turned to low-tech genius. They blasted cornflakes and flour into the air. Under the harsh studio lights, it looked like ice shards and snow exploding across the screen. The trick worked so well that most audiences never suspected it was breakfast cereal raining down on the actors. Combined with careful matte work, the sequence gave the illusion of a massive frozen wasteland breaking apart. Sometimes Hollywood history is just smoke, mirrors, and cereal. Number 15. Hiding the monster in the shadows. The alien suit looked imposing, but up close it wasn't exactly terrifying. The filmmakers knew this, so they made a clever choice. Keep the creature hidden as much as possible. Most of its appearances are quick flashes, silhouettes, or scenes where it bursts in and out of the frame. By showing less, they created more suspense. Viewers were left to imagine the details, and what you don't see is often scarier than what you do. The shadows did the work that makeup couldn't. In the end, the monster's mystery became its biggest weapon. Number 16. The birth of a sci-fi legacy. When it hit theaters in 1951, The Thing from Another World didn't just scare audiences. It lit the fuse for a whole decade of creature features. The burning title sequence, the isolated Arctic setting, the idea of an alien menace, all became blueprints for later sci-fi and horror films. Its influence stretched far beyond the 50s. John Carpenter openly paid tribute with his 1982 remake, and countless directors have borrowed its paranoia, atmosphere, and man versus the unknown theme. What started as a modest black and white thriller ended up shaping an entire genre. The monster may have been defeated, but its shadow still looms over science fiction today. The Thing from Another World may look like a simple 50s monster flick on the surface, but behind the scenes, it was anything but simple. Hidden directors, dangerous stunts, bizarre creative choices, and a legacy that outgrew its own monster suit. This film froze its place in history. What makes it unforgettable isn't just the alien crashing through doors, but the way it captured a Cold War fear that the enemy could come from anywhere, even outer space. That paranoia, that sense of dread, still echoes in modern horror. 70 years later, the warning at the end still feels chilling.
Watch the skies. Everywhere.
So, which fact shocked you the most? Let me know in the comments. And if you thought this was wild, just wait until you see the secrets behind the next